before we go any further, I believe you have an exclusive story for us on Rangers' potential return to Ibrox.
Yep, I'm led to believe that the club are exploring the potential to get back to Ibrox for next month's game against Dundee on the 21st of September, which would be a week earlier than planned, or certainly a week earlier than we thought would be the case earlier on this week, when we found out that the missing steel shipment had finally turned up at Ibrox. We work now sort of full steam ahead in that front. So that would mean that this weekend's game against Ross County would be the last match at Hampden as things stand, which I think would come as a huge relief to not only the supporters but also Philippe Clement and probably John Bennett as well. So they're obviously in discussions with Glasgow City Council at the moment, just over all the necessary safety certificates, just make sure that all the necessary checks around the work, once it's completed, that they get them signed off and they get the thumbs up from the council to welcome fans back into the stadium. But if all goes to head, and I must say it's still not far from guaranteed that this will be the case, but this is certainly the hope, the intention is that they would be like to be back at Ibrox for September the 21st, which, as I say, would be a massive boost, a rare bit of good news for the team right now.
I would say, I would agree with you in that, and especially because, on the Hotline Live, the last few nights we've talked about Rangers signing players and transfers, and we will talk about that a little later on, but you can't underestimate the power of Ibrox. Rangers need to get back there as soon as they can. That would give them a massive boost.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think everyone who was there that night against Dynamo Kiev when they crashed out the Champions League would attest to the fact that it really just wasn't the same. The noise levels were, a fraction what you would normally expect in a big night at Ibrox. Obviously, it picked up a little bit after Yefte get his very harsh red card, but you talk about the Hampden roar. I mean, it was a whimper compared to what the team would usually have sort of rolling them on at Ibrox. So, yeah, I think they would all be desperate to get back. Listen, just from the logistical side of things, having to, move everything from Ibrox to Hampden, hospitality, sorting out tickets, even just down to the kit man having to go that extra couple of miles across the city to get the kits ready. I think all these things are just putting Rangers out of their comfort zone, and a time of the year, this summer where things that haven't been going to plan for them on or off the pitch. Really, they can do with every bit of help they can get. So getting back to Ibrox, I'm sure, would be seen as a major boost for everyone at the club.
Aye, as I say, it's a big talking point for Rangers fans. Rangers Easy OK, who's watching live on YouTube, says, I said it after the Kiev game, we've pulled the team over the line time and time again in Europe in recent years at Ibrox. If the Kiev game is at Ibrox, we would be playing Salzburg tonight. I know a lot of kind of Rangers detractors will say, look, they were beat fair and square. They were, obviously. I actually kind of agree with that. I don't think Dynamo Kiev were up to much at all. I could easily have seen Rangers getting through that at Ibrox.
Definitely. It's not just Rangers. I mean, it goes for Celtic as well. And you think the power that these two clubs and the fans, they draw from their fans. I mean, you would ordinarily, with a Celtic team, back in the day, beat a Barcelona, beat an AC Milan, beat a Juve, were it not for the power that Parkhead produced? Probably not. It's the same. Would Rangers go to a Europa League final a couple of years ago? Would they get past a Dortmund? Would they get past a Red Bull Leipzig if it weren't for the sheer volume that those grounds are? That ground is capable of producing, and just the general layout of Hampden, it's shallower, it's spread out a bit more, doesn't keep the noise in to the same degree that Ibrox does. So yeah, no, definitely the layout of these stadiums and the people within it are hugely beneficial to both our clubs. And so for me, I think the Rangers will be absolutely desperate. I think this is why they are pushing. Obviously, John Bennett said in his interview last month that the end of September was the target. People around the club earlier on this week, that seemed to be the target, but I heard a few whispers today, checked out a few places, and yeah, it seems to be that they are trying to see if they can get in there a week earlier, which would have ramifications as well for Europe. If they can get that game against Dundee signed off, to get the green light for that, get the fans back in, and then potentially that would mean they could be back in as well the following Thursday for what might be their first Europa League game, if they are drawn at home for that fixture. So, I mean, again, that would be hugely beneficial to Philippe Clement and his